Hello, my name is Jonathan Pilkington, and this is the Luxury All-Inclusive Travel Podcast. In this episode, I'm talking with Carson Hobart from AmaWaterways, which is one of my favorite river cruise companies. We had a great discussion about river cruising as a whole, some of the history of river cruising, and how the company got started, as well as what just generally makes AmaWaterways special. I hope you'll enjoy our conversation and that it inspires you to contact me about a river cruise. My website is www.pilkingtontravels.com, and my email address is jonathan@pilkingtontravels.com. Please like and subscribe, and if you're listening to an audio-only version, like on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, just know that this is also available on YouTube so that you can see images and videos that are shared or discussed. Thank you for listening or watching. Okay, I am talking with Carson Hobart from AmaWaterways. We were just discussing how Ama means love. That is, when you learn about AmaWaterways, that's one of the first things you learn. And of course, love is all about relationships. And in the travel industry, relationships are so important between the client and the travel advisor and the travel advisor and the companies. And it's all about taking care of the clients ultimately. And from my experience, I really feel like AmaWaterways does a fantastic job doing what's right for the client. So let's go. You want to say anything about yourself as we get started?
Yeah. Oh, sure. All right. I love that. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm Carson. I'm with AmaWaterways. I've been with the company for about 2 years now. Been in the industry for about a decade. Long story short, started with Insight Vacations luxury land travel. Dabbled a bit with Uniworld, which ultimately enticed me in the world of river cruising. Jumped on board with Rocky Mountaineer, luxury scenic day trains
Nice.
in Western Canada, and now they've got something in Moab and Denver. And then I find myself with AmaWaterways, where I think I always wanted to be since the beginning. River cruising is just, in my opinion, the best way to travel. And there's so many different ideas of what river cruising is. And I'll walk through sort of the history and sort of big picture of what river cruising used to be and what it is now. And then obviously what river cruising is like with AmaWaterways. But yeah, so grew up, raised in San Francisco, and then during COVID, came to Asheville, North Carolina to get away from natural disasters. So some irony with that. And then currently based in Asheville, covering the Southeast with AmaWaterways.
Great. Yeah. So we just met recently and it's been great so far. And I have sailed with AmaWaterways, I think twice now. And I'm soon going on the Douro River, which is what you see behind me. That's the ship is somewhere here. There it is.
Yep, that's it.
The Amavida. So I'm very excited to experience not only AmaWaterways again, but a cruise that's not in Germany and Austria and the Rhine and Danube, something completely different, like this.
I like to say that Portugal is a hybrid exotic. We've got our main European fleet and offerings, and to your point, it's Germany, it's France, it's that river cruising experience. And then Portugal, even though it is still Europe, it's a smaller ship, it's a very different itinerary, and it feels like you're on a different continent. And then, of course, we've got our exotics. So, yeah, to your point, Jonathan, it's a little bit different than Europe, and sort of, I would say, a great stepping stone for those that have been there and done that with Europe, and they're ready to go somewhere else and do something different. Portugal's the closest country to the US, so it's an easy flight. And then from there, they can bounce and go to Vietnam, Cambodia, Africa, etc.
Yeah. And not to go off on a tangent, but I'm really excited that Delta's about to be offering direct flights to Porto from JFK. So that's
Yes,
something for everyone to know.
I heard about that. Yeah, very exciting.
Yeah. Um, okay, so let's talk about the history of river cruising or just river cruising as a whole.
Yeah, certainly. So, it's fascinating working closely with Rudy Schreiner. He's one of the co-founders of AMA. He was very much involved in the beginnings of river cruising. River cruising had very humble beginnings. Back in 1992 is when they say river cruising really began. Obviously, small families and small companies here and there would throw together small barge kind of style cruises with maybe 10 or 15 people cruising the rivers. And that's been the case for a couple of centuries, but it's never really turned into something big. Back in 1992, there was 100 passengers doing river cruising on an industrial scale. And then in 2000, that grew to 20,000 in a year. So it really proved a point to the industry as a whole that river cruising is something that is going to explode and continue to grow. Rudy Schreiner, he recently just got the Lifetime Achievement Award in the industry. He has been involved in river cruising since the very beginning. A little bit of quick history with him. Fascinating man. If you guys want to look him up, he's on Google and Wikipedia.
Right.
He started in his 20s for a dissertation. He was going to university in Vienna. I think it's the University of Vienna.
Right.
He traveled to Nepal to study architecture, and that really whetted his appetite for adventure. After that, he went to the Amazon and built his first craft. There's images and videos of it online. It is a wooden rowing, it's really wild to see.
Right.
And that started his drive and his motivation to focus on tourism on the rivers. So in 1992, Uniworld, who is a luxury river cruise company, quite a bit smaller, but very luxurious, very boutique, very unique, based off the Red Carnation Hotel line, they hired him to develop and build itineraries. The concept was there. You've got a boat, you put people on it, but nobody really knew how the logistics would work to go from this city to that city to that city,
Mhm.
how to organize and coordinate with locks. And for those of you watching, if you don't know, a lock is an elevator for the river. Basically, the boat goes in, the doors close behind you, and the water rises or lowers depending on where you pop out on the other side, and you continue on your journey. So, a way to control the water levels. And so, there's just so many moving parts, so many variables. Uniworld hired him to kind of develop an itinerary that would not only work for the client, the guest, but would also work for the company as a whole.
Wow.
And then since then, a few people from Uniworld, including Rudy, broke off and worked for Viking, company we all know and love. Viking really put river cruising on the map, and we're grateful that they're still doing so.
Right.
Mhm.
Yes, everyone, they introduce everyone by their
Mhm.
commercials.
Mhm. Right,
Uh,
right.
yeah, so everyone wants to go on a river cruise.
Mhm.
Thank goodness.
So, and then just to finish that off, Jonathan,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt. 1992 marks the beginning of river cruising because that was the opening of the Danube-Main Canal.
Oh,
And what that was, it allowed the North Sea to be connected to the Black Sea, something that Charlemagne actually envisioned 800 years ago. So it took a long time to make that happen. He obviously envisioned it for trade. Rudy and others like him envisioned it for river cruising to allow those little barge ships for 4 nights max to turn into a multi-week affair. So it's really quite interesting the history and the story behind river cruising as a whole and how Rudy was so involved in it.
amazing. Yeah. Um, and so, okay, the Main River, it connects the Danube and Main rivers, right?
Mhm.
Okay, just in case people are not familiar with the Main.
Right. So
Yeah.
the Rhine and the Danube are the biggest rivers in Europe,
Yeah.
and they don't touch until they open the Main Canal.
Mhm.
And then you could travel from the North Sea all the way down to the Black Sea, and that connected all of Europe. It really
Yeah.
opened things up.
Amazing. Okay. Um, okay. Just to talk a little more about Rudy, isn't he's sort of responsible for other innovations in ships, right?
Mhm,
Like the
mhm.
balconies, the double balcony, or the is that what you call it?
Yeah, the twin
Right.
balconies, I guess tying it all up and bringing us to modern day and AmaWaterways, Rudy Schreiner has worked for Uniworld and Viking. He's been contracted by basically every river cruise line out there. Um, And in '02, he was president at Viking, and he decided to break off and create a river cruise in the best way he thought was possible, and that was all the waterways. And with that, he had a playground to really kind of break the rules and become a real company of innovation, doing new things that no one ever thought about, doing daring things. And probably the two biggest things that make us stand apart in terms of the physical aspect of the ship experience, to your point, is the twin balcony stateroom. Back in 2013, we were the first company to have balconies on all of our ships. That's what people wanted. There's all kinds of design logistical challenges with that, with nautical vessels, but he made it happen. So yeah, the twin balcony stateroom allows our guests to enjoy an inside French Juliet balcony, is opening up the square footage of the interior of their stateroom, as well as an outdoor balcony, so they get the best of both worlds there. The second thing that he really innovated is with regard to high and low water. So many people have heard about high and low water. As we all know, the news and the media likes to really turn a molehill into a mountain. And Rudy saw that, and he saw that rain and acts of God are technically things that we can't control, but the one thing we can control is the design of the ship and how shallow its draft is. So our ships are the shallowest drafted ships on the rivers in Europe. It allows us to be able to continue to cruise even though the water might be low due to drought conditions, mostly in the summertime.
Right.
So
That's
those two things changed the industry, and everyone's been copying us since.
great. Yeah, and it's always something I consider when I'm, talking with someone about river cruises, because it's
Mhm.
such a frustration if you have to get on a
Mhm.
bus.
Mhm.
So if you want to avoid that, AmaWaterways is the best for that. Um, okay. Is there more about the history? Or are we moving on to the kind of India, China, South Africa?
Yeah,
Wait,
let's move from history and let's talk about the future.
yeah.
We can do a little
Okay.
bit of time traveling, right? So we've been talking about the past, and we're going to talk about the future, and then we'll talk about the now. Does that sound good to you, Jonathan?
Perfect. I love it. Yeah.
Okay. So the future, right? River cruising is really getting big. COVID, everyone's got their own opinions on it, but unequivocally, one thing that COVID brought that was a tremendous benefit to intimate organizations like Alma Waterways is the fact that people began to understand and appreciate smaller group travel. And so the big ocean liners with 6,000, 7,000, I think they have a new one with 8, maybe 9,000 people on board.
Right.
And they tout that, we're the biggest ocean liner, the biggest ocean ship of in the world. Um, I think people are starting to realize that that may not necessarily be their cup of tea. And with AmaWaterways, with river cruising in general, you have far fewer people. Instead of thousands, not even 1,000, you have 100, 200, sometimes 250. So with AmaWaterways, our ships max out at 160 passengers on our biggest ships. And that has really allowed people to recognize the value of traveling more like a traveler and less like a tourist,
Hmm.
and you're not being herded through these little destinations. Um, you're not waiting in line for food on board the ship. It's a very intimate floating hotel. It's the best way to conceptualize it.
For sure.
Um, so as river cruising is expanding, and again, we're seeing it in the news all the time. Celebrity Ocean Cruises is starting a celebrity fleet. AMA is building ships. We'll have 8 new ships in the next 6 years, which is unheard of.
Wow.
Vikings building ships, Tauck is building ships. Trafalgar, originally not a river cruise company, is now building ships
Hmm.
because everyone sees the demand. Everyone is river cruising. And for those of you watching, if you're not river cruising yet, you're really missing out. So that being said, we're expanding. There's only so many rivers in Europe that are navigable by a river cruise vessel of any kind of size. So we've expanded already into South Africa. We've been there for a while. That's an incredible destination.
Right.
We've got Egypt, and I'll talk about some exciting things about that in terms of promotions and opportunities to get you traveling there.
Right.
Um, Vietnam and Cambodia in the Mekong River.
Hmm.
And then, of course, Colombia is really quite exciting. We're really happy about that. We're already in those places. We've already stuck our flag in the ground, and we really are doing some of the best things that are done in those destinations. But as more people want to cruise with us, we are getting requests. We are getting inquiries. I really want to visit this place. When are you traveling to this place? And AmaWaterways is a company that listens, and that's how we are a company of innovation. That's how we've been able to evolve, is simply by putting our ear to the ground and listening to what the people want. So I'm happy to say, and again, this is all um, clearly is on the record, but it's also off the record. Don't quote me with any of this, but word on the street, tell is
Yes.
we are currently eyeballing the Ganges River in India.
Hmm.
There's a couple of smaller companies already sailing in that area. We've been sort of sitting back and watching how that goes. For those of you watching, India as an infrastructure is unstable sometimes, and it's difficult to be able to promise an itinerary with events with a country that doesn't necessarily have very rigid kind of business practice, kind of like Vienna, Germany, right? We can be expected to be there on time, whereas India is a little bit different. So
Right.
India on the Ganges, we're excited to be looking at that and possibly offering that to our guests. Um, We've heard a lot of China. A lot of people are interested in China.
Hmm.
We were looking at that a few years back. Again, there's already a couple of river cruise lines doing China, but with the current geopolitical state of things, we're just kind of holding off on that for the time being, and really just kind of refocusing to Southeast Asia, to Vietnam and Cambodia in the meantime. Um, and then, of course, South Africa, as I mentioned before, we really do it the best. And the Zambezi Queen is a beautiful ship that sails the Chobe River, connecting Zimbabwe and God, I'm blanking on the name.
Um,
It'll pop up in a second. But anyway, it's a beautiful river and it's so popular. We're actually sold out for 26,
oh wow.
which is great, but it's also frustrating because we have so many people asking for it and we just don't have the stuff to give. So we are going to possibly expand our fleet there.
Yeah.
And then Colombia. I'll just take this as an opportunity to plug Colombia. We were working secretly with the government for about 7 years,
Hmm.
and we are the first river cruise line down there. We had to build the docks, we had to dredge certain parts of the Magdalena River to make this work. And it's so fun. I believe as Rudy comes sort of toward the end of his career, as he's beginning to sunset certain projects here and there. It is my opinion that Colombia is sort of his opus. This is he's never had the opportunity to create a river cruise itinerary raw.
Hmm.
No docks, no infrastructure. These little villages and towns didn't know what to do with travelers when they come in. So he truly had hands, and our team designed that itinerary from scratch. Um, so really excited about Colombia and
Yeah.
more to come. But yeah, that's what the future with Alma Waterways looks.
That's exciting. Very exciting. Um, just speaking of Colombia, since we're there, I know there are beautiful attractions, things to see in Colombia, but what is it on the Magdalena River that we should be excited about?
Yeah, well, first things first, I've been noticing that this is just something that I need to get out of the way before we even dive into any sort of conversation around Colombia. When I say Colombia, most folks think of Pablo Escobar and all the fun stuff in the news.
Right.
Um, it's fascinating how the human brain works, and people forget that that was almost 50 years ago. That was half a century ago when Americans were seeing scary stuff on the news.
Hmm.
Nowadays, quite honestly, Mexico is more dangerous than Colombia, and yet people are still going to Cabo, Cancun, Playa del Carmen, et cetera, et cetera. So, Colombia is really quite exciting for two reasons. Number one, it's on the same time zone, and it's only 6 hours away for the most part, on average, from most Americans. So
Wow.
they don't have to go over to Europe and lose a day. It's just a half day, no jet lag, good to go. And then Colombia itself, we go to Mompox, Barranquilla, Cartagena. These destinations, again, had never been touched by river cruising.
Right.
And Colombia, as a culture, as a destination, is just so vibrant. It's so colorful. There's rhythmic, there's music in the air, sounds. People don't realize that Colombia is a culmination of about five or six different cultures throughout history. You've got North, Central, and South America coming in and influencing them.
Right.
You've got Caribbean culture influencing them, and by connection, Africa. And then, of
Mm.
course, you've got Europe. You've got the Iberian Peninsula, and all of that is kind of a melting pot of a very unique, incredible culture. Um, so we're really excited that we're there, and it has been so successful. We're happy to say that we launched our second brand new ship last month, exactly 20 days ago.
Oh,
And so we've got two ships going there, and we're seeing it really start to ramp up in terms of demand.
that's exciting. Yes, I need to do more research,
Mhm.
especially in-person research, and get on the river.
Jonathan, would you consider yourself a wildlife person? Are you a birder? Do you have binoculars sitting on a shelf somewhere?
I don't, but I have a bird feeder right outside my window.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Another fun thing about Colombia is that it's the world's second most biodiverse ecosystem on the planet,
Oh,
second to, of course, the Amazon rainforest in Brazil. But birders, toucans come and land on your balcony in the morning. It is a real jungle cruise, not that Disneyland stuff. It's the real stuff. And so many unique excursions. One of the excursions, we take you off the main ship and throw you on two custom-made safari tenders,
hmm.
and you buzz through this a national preserve, and there's wildlife and birds, and I like to say it feels like Africa. Closer to home Africa, but it's a real safari experience. I'm happy to say I'll be jumping on board in December. Haven't been yet, but it is so fascinating. I'm going to do it with my girlfriend in December, and I'll let you know more then.
Great. Yeah, maybe we will do a second edition of this podcast.
Please, I'd love to. I'd
Yeah,
love
I would
to.
love that
Is
too.
that an invitation to come back? Am I
Absolutely.
doing good?
So far, so good.
It's so fun chatting with you, Jonathan.
Yeah. Good. Okay. Uh, I guess let's talk more about well, first of all, Virtuoso, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For those of you watching, you may not be aware, in the travel industry, there's all kinds of families, and every family has a different style, a different flavor, different quality, you might say. And Virtuoso is one of the highest regarded families in the industry, and they are very particular with who they let in their families. A very exclusive organization, and it's exclusive because they demand the best. And by the best, what does that mean? The relationship between your trusted travel advisor like Jonathan and you, but also the relationship between your trusted travel advisor, Jonathan, and us, and all the other suppliers that partner with Virtuoso. So, because Virtuoso is considered so polished, um, because we can guarantee that you will enjoy your experience from start to finish with Jonathan, we have such a good relationship with them. We have incredible exclusive offers. Before I dive into those, I just really want to make it clear. AmaWaterways, most of our cruises are about 7 nights. That's the
Right.
standard. Most Americans like to cruise for 7 nights. There's always pre and post options. You can tack on a few days here, a few days there in the beginning or the end, but most cruises are 7 nights. If you're not using a travel advisor already, we really encourage you to, because like Jonathan said at the very beginning of this podcast, is it's all about relationships. We get you for 7 nights. Jonathan is holding your hand for years, and that's a relationship that lasts. And is so fun for those of you that haven't experienced this to say, honey, let's go on a vacation. Okay, let's call Jonathan. Jonathan, we don't know what we want to do. You know what we like. You know what we're looking for. Give us your thoughts. And Jonathan will come back to you and say, yep, based on this and this and this and your past experiences and your preferences, I recommend A, B, and C. Let's talk about each one and let's figure out which one works for you. And then when you go on that vacation, you know your hand is being held by us, by Jonathan, by Virtuoso, and it will be a seamless experience. And in the world of travel, flight delays, lost baggage, et cetera, these things can and will happen. If you travel enough, you will run into these things.
Right.
And it's just a comforting feeling knowing that when these things happen, you are being taken care of by so many different levels of the organization, whether it's Jonathan, AmaWaterways, Virtuoso, doesn't matter. And so, yeah, we're really excited to be partnered with Virtuoso. We're really excited that you're on this, listening to learn more about AmaWaterways and what it's like to work with Jonathan. Um, what are the direct benefits? What are the things you can expect when you're working with Jonathan with AmaWaterways? The first thing is the Virtuoso amenity program. Select cruises with AmaWaterways, you get a flat $150 onboard credit. There's only four things you can spend money on board our ships. We are a company of value. We don't like nickel and diming.
Right.
And so that being said, there's only four things you could spend money on board our ships. Everything else is included. Number one is going to be drinks between meals.
Right.
The reason we don't include drinks between meals is because people are not on board the ship between meals. They're doing shore excursions. They're exploring these destinations because with river cruising, the idea is to get off the ship, go into town. And so if you really want to drink between lunch and dinner, or our sip and sail cocktail hour, which is an open bar every afternoon, choose the wine tasting excursion, choose the whiskey tasting excursion, right? So again, the first thing we don't include is drinks between meals, and that's a nominal fee of 10 US dollars for Tito's vodka, Bombay Sapphire, anything like that. Number two is laundry. It's very fast, very inexpensive. Number three is the gift shop. It's the size of a small cubicle, but it does have some nice local jewelry and some AmaWaterways swag. And then finally, number four is the spa, the hair salon, the nail salon, which all of our ships have. So that's what the onboard credit can go toward, is those things. We also have our AmaMax program, select sailings throughout the year in 26 and soon to be 27. We are getting $300 onboard credit on select cruises. And then I saved the last one for the best one for last.
Yes.
With Virtuoso, they have Virtuoso hosted cruises. And Jonathan, being that you've been on 3 cruises at the end of this year with us, I would really recommend that we have a conversation, turning you into a host at some point in 26, maybe.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What does the guest get? What do your clients get when they jump on board one of these hosted cruises? Number one of those people representing Virtuoso, an incredible company, as I mentioned before, will be on the ship, making sure that it's not only the best with Ama, it's also the best with Virtuoso. You're getting 2 layers of quality control. You get an exclusive welcome reception. You get $250 onboard credit per person to spend on spa, gift shop, whatever.
Right.
Exclusive shore experiences that are not available to other AmaWaterways guests. Personalized experience credit. This, nobody knows what it is until we get close to the sailing. So an example would be, I keep talking about onboard credit, money you can spend on the ship. If you decide to plan a pre or a post 2 or 3 night sort of experience with us, you'll get Virtuoso credit toward that, which is unique because we don't offer that. We typically offer stuff just for the ship, but with Virtuoso, we can add on a little sort of um, uh, it's like those boxes you can buy online, $20, and it's got a question mark. What's inside? You don't know until you open it up. Same
Right.
thing with this. You are going to get some value, and we don't know what it is until you open that box. And then finally, what is typically expected of Virtuoso clients and partners is a private car and a driver to take you from the airport to the ship, to the hotel, whatever the case might be. So incredible benefits. And if any of you listening in are interested in that, ask Jonathan to look at which cruises work for that, and he'll get you on board.
Absolutely. Excited to. And speaking of the onboard expenses, my experience has been that the pricing is very fair. Like the drinks you mentioned, $10 or so. That's but also the spa treatments. It's not like $300 for a basic massage. It's something very reasonable,
Mhm.
considering that it's, a high-end experience overall.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
um Okay, thanks. That was a great plug for me and Virtuoso, and all very true. So, um, okay. So I think we're moving on to more about what's currently happening with AmaWaterways and
Mhm.
sailings.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll touch in on just a couple of things. Number one, let's talk about some promotions that are just available. They're out there on the market. Obviously, we've talked about the Virtuoso stuff. That stuff gets stacked on top of what I'm about to say. So we currently have all kinds of offers for 26 and 27 sailings. There's going to be sailings where you can save $2,500 off per stateroom. That's huge. This time of year, December, November, Q4, is really the best time to book cruises simply because we want to get names on the books and we're willing to drop our prices just enough to make that happen.
Right.
Um, with AmaWaterways, the promotions change every quarter, and these promotions end at the end of this quarter. So again, 2,500 off per stateroom. We also have our Air Plus program. We will fly you to and back from Europe round trip, $1,000 flat in 2026.
Great.
If you are someone that wants to do business class, that's just 4,200, which is still an incredible fare. Um, we don't want stupid airline pricing. If any of you have been watching the news lately, we don't want to keep that. Keep that. We don't want that to keep you from traveling with us. So we're willing to lose a little bit of money on the air to get you on board the ship. Dovetailing off of that, Egypt in 2026, for a limited time, will fly you there and back for free. Economy
Amazing.
is free. Free flights to get you to and back from Egypt to basically brand new ships, incredible itinerary. Fun fact, the US travel advisory just dropped it from a 3 to a 2. So we've got a lot of people jumping on board and booking. So check that out.
Yeah.
It's all based on availability. And then, of course, the final thing we've got is military savings.
Hmm.
We're really proud. I think Veterans Day just passed.
Right.
Really proud of our veterans and our active military. If anyone comes to you, Jonathan, with a military ID, active or not, some cruises they get 2 for 1. They go for the price and their companion goes for free. All kinds of different ways you can play with military savings.
Fantastic.
So yeah, that's promotions, getting the numbers and all that stuff out of the way so I can check my box to my boss later.
Right.
The second thing to answer your question, what's going on with Alma now? Um, we're really happy to say that, again, as a company of innovation, we are seeing changes happening with our company and who we attract on board our ships. When people think of river cruising, at least 5 years ago, they thought of older people with walkers, just kind of meandering around a boat playing shuttle. What's it called? Um,
Shuffleboard.
Shuffleboard. That is not AmaWaterways. We're really
Right.
proud to say that our wellness program has really leaps and bounds evolved.
Hmm.
And what the wellness program does is it offers you a private fitness coach on board the ship 24/7. Um, bicycle tours, yoga in the morning, stretching sessions in the afternoon. And what that does is it brings down our average age from the walkers and the shuffleboard to an average age of about 59. So we've got really adventurous folks on our ship who enjoy the safety and security of having a structure and a schedule, but it's also designed to be broken. We want people to grab a couple of bikes and just disappear into town.
Hmm.
The best thing about the people that travel with us is they sometimes enjoy getting lost in these little villages that we take them to. And we encourage them, take these bikes and just go. Find a cool little bar, sit down with the locals and enjoy an espresso in the morning.
Right.
And if you get lost, all you have to do is find the river and look left, look right. Oh, there's the ship. Okay, honey, we're back.
Yeah.
So, it's really quite interesting what we're doing in terms of attracting newer people to understand what river cruising is all about. There's all kinds of fun updates happening on board our ships. We don't have enough time to talk about all of them, Jonathan. But again, if any of you are interested, talk to Jonathan. He can tell you all about the new, latest, greatest stuff that we're offering, and anyone's offering in that matter.
Absolutely. Um, and the wellness program is I've experienced it myself quite a bit. I even got a certificate once for being the
Hey,
the one who showed up every day. Um, so it's not an intense workout necessarily, but it's something to get you moving.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm.
and I really enjoyed it. Um, and okay, we were. Oh my gosh.
Talking about moving,
Yes.
Our shore excursions are quite unique too. This is really turning to be quite popular.
That was my question.
I could read your mind.
Yes.
We're in sync right now. Shore excursions with AmaWaterways are all included. Typically, you get 2 or 3 options in the morning, 2 or 3 options in the afternoon. Some of those options have a gentle, normal, and active pace. So not only do you get to pick what you do on that day, oftentimes you get to pick how you go about doing it. So if you want to go slow, if you want to take your time, go with that group over there. If you want to go fast, if you want to hike, if you want to bicycle 10 miles to get to the spot, go with that group over there. So you can really kind of choose your own adventure. And naturally, by offering so many options, we're breaking up the ship's complement into smaller groups of about 9 to 13 people on average. And that again allows people to feel more like a traveler and less like a tourist, more of a participant rather than a witness in these incredible destinations we go to, because they're able to lean in and talk to the local guide instead of just being 40, person number 42 in the group. You have a small group and you can just chat with each other. And the fun thing about that, our guides, they're supposed to take you to A, B, and C. Everything in between and on the ends, they have complete autonomy to create the shore excursion based on what people want. So if you're interested in architecture history, my great great grandmother lived in a house in this town. Do you think you could find it for me? That kind of stuff we do all the time. So it's really quite interesting how we continue to personalize and make this experience true luxury. And Jonathan, I think you mentioned this earlier. Where does Alma Waterways sit on the spectrum of river cruising in general? Um, we, first off, every river cruise line out there does a great job with what they do. Just everyone does a slightly different way and has a different way of doing it. I would call Alma Waterways luxury, and that luxury is coming from the soft points, the attention to detail, the fact that everything is just taken care of for you.
Hmm.
But by no means are we stuffy, right?
No.
So we're at the higher end of that spectrum in terms of luxury, but we're not too luxurious where we um, make people not want to jump on board with us. An example would be it's a very sophisticated style of service in a very casual environment. So you won't see guys wearing blazers unless they want to on board our ships.
Right.
Um, it's very casual, it's smart casual kind of attire. There's a couple of evenings where people do like to get dressed up, very special events. We don't have time to get into those, but every cruise has them.
Right.
So yes, I do consider ourselves luxury. We do sit in the luxury category, but that should not dissuade people from thinking that they have to wear tuxedos and ballroom gowns and stuff like
Oh yeah.
that. So we're always making sure that we're right in that sweet spot and making us the most approachable to the most travelers out there.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. It's not the most opulent experience, but it's very nice, absolutely luxury, um, and not one bit stuffy. It's very comfortable and
Good, good.
yeah. And also to fact check you on the excursions, from my own experience, I absolutely love AmaWaterways' tours and excursions. I think they do some of the best for the size of the groups as well as the slow walkers, the active pace and everything. Because as a person who really likes to move, um, it can be so frustrating if it's everyone lumped together. So when you get to be in the fast group, it's really fun.
Between you and me, Jonathan, when I take my grandmother to the mall, and if we have to park far away, my legs hurt at the end of that experience because I'm always putting on the brakes. I'm staying pace with grandma.
Right.
I, like you, like to move at a certain speed, and anything less than that feels awkward. So,
Yeah.
right there to your point, we're just doing things to personalize the experience and make sure everyone's comfortable.
Yeah. I mean, it's also wonderful to have the option for
Of course.
the
Yeah.
walkers and the or taking a van up the mountain
Mhm.
instead of hiking up the mountain.
Right. Right.
Because everyone gets to experience it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, yeah. Okay. What else?
I think we covered everything that we discussed. I mean, we could sit here for hours, but I'm sure
Yeah.
people's eyes would start glazing over.
Right. I have two more things.
Yes.
So I think Alma Magna is interesting to talk about. And
Okay.
just way back, you mentioned about the capacity of the ships. I think that's an important thing for all on the Rhine and Danube anyway. The ships are generally all about the same size, right?
Hmm.
And
Yeah, let's talk about that.
yeah, so some companies cram smaller rooms
Mhm.
and more people on, but AmaWaterways does not. So go for
I
it.
I will attack those questions in reverse if that's
Okay.
okay with you. So
Yeah, for sure.
number one, earlier in today's talk, we were talking about locks, right? Elevators for the river. Every lock on every river is the same size. Therefore, every ship on River X is also the same size. They try to max out their capacity to fit inside the lock. Most ships in Europe are 443 feet long and 38 feet wide because that is what the regular lock size is. And to your point, it's if every ship is the same size, it's what you do with that space that makes all the difference in the world. And AMA has the luxury of space
Right,
in the sense that you have ship X and you have AMA Waterways. They're both the same size. These guys have 190 guests on board. We max out at 160. Breaking that down, that's 15 fewer staterooms, 30 less people. And what does that mean? That means more amenities, specialty dining areas. That means everyone's stateroom on average is bigger. And most importantly, it gives us that golden 1 to 2.6, 2.7 staff to guest ratio. We have 60 staff on board and on average 150 guests on board. You're getting personalized attention with that. And most importantly, too, you're not rubbing elbows and standing in line like we were talking about earlier.
right,
So the luxury of space is a huge topic of conversation that we're continuing to forge ahead with. And then to talk about the Magna, which I believe epitomizes the point I'm trying to make.
right,
The Magna is very unique in the sense that it's a double wide ship. It only sails on the Danube River. The Danube River has locks wide enough to accommodate a double wide ship. My marketing team is going to hate me for this. We're not supposed to call it a double wide ship, but that is what it is. It's a double wide ship.
right,
Did we put double the people on it? No. The Alma Magna holds a maximum of 196 guests. And as I mentioned, the other guys, Brand X, on a ship half that size, have 190 people
right,
on board. So that really puts things into perspective to allow you to get more amenities, more space, less people on board. And that's what makes traveling, again, more like a traveler and less like a tourist. When you start inviting a bunch of people to a group, too many cooks in the kitchen, it's not authentic.
right.
With us, it's all about authenticity. And by having fewer people on board, even on a bigger ship, fewer people on board, you're going to get that real travel experience that you're looking for.
Yes. And my first experience was with Alma Magna. Um,
All right. That's right. Yeah.
New Year's of 2019 to 2020. Um,
Exciting.
yeah, it was amazing. It was
Just before everything shut down.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm spoiled for life, and I'll never forget it. It was
Right.
fantastic.
Right.
Yeah. Um,
We're
uh,
starting to build the Ama Rudy.
ooh,
So the Magna is going to have a sister ship, hopefully launching in 2027 because it's so popular.
that's very exciting. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
good. Something now is time to start planning for that.
Yes, it is.
Uh,
And that's another point too. Everyone that's listening, average booking window for any river cruise is about a year.
mhm,
And that's because we have 70 staterooms on board compared to 4,000 on the ocean, guys. So if any of you are interested in river cruising, I really encourage you to reach out to Jonathan well in advance and make sure that he gets you taken care of because as you get closer to the sailing, your preferred stateroom, your preferred promotional pricing, those are going to start disappearing. So 1 year is that sweet spot
right.
for booking river cruising.
Perfect. Yeah, that's probably a great place to wrap it up.
Mhm.
All of my contact information will be available, and I am ready to help anyone uh, experience on waterways because I think it's a fantastic experience.
And if any of you have questions, Jonathan knows everything about AmaWaterways. He has all of your answers. And even if he doesn't, he's got me on speed dial,
Right.
and we will get you taken care of. And that's the most important thing. As I mentioned, you've got two layers of support. You've got Jonathan as your preferred advisor, your trusted advisor. You've got me representing AmaWaterways, and as a combined effort, we will give you that seamless experience. And remember, everyone, the trip technically starts in the dreaming process. I mentioned when you sit down with Jonathan, that's when the vacation starts. When you start imagining all the exciting things you and whoever you're traveling with can do, and you can just start getting excited about that. Don't let the trip only last 7 days. Let the trip last for a year in the planning process and being excited for it and having something to look forward to.
Right.
So Jonathan is absolutely there for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And thanks for chatting with me. It's been great fun.
Yeah, let's definitely do a part 2 at some time soon.
Yeah.
I'd love to do that.
Yeah. I'm excited for that. All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks again for watching or listening. In case you're listening to this as just an audio podcast, know that it is available on YouTube so that you can see any photos or videos that we discuss. Search for the Luxury All-Inclusive Travel Podcast on YouTube or any podcast platform. AmaWaterways is such a great river cruise company, and I would love to help you find the perfect itinerary and ship for your first or your next river cruise. Just remember that there are always promotions going on, and when you book with me, you'll receive those, as well as any perks that I'm able to add for you. Please like, subscribe, and share the podcast. Most importantly, please visit my website at pilkingtontravels.com or email me at jonathan@pilkingtontravels.com to contact me for your next trip. Thank you.